That's been pressed. There we go. That was a little better. Figure out the volume balance. Yeah. Okay. So today I am starting with trying to tighten up the Pulumi deployment. So I'm still having an issue where, so when I start up, the Pulumi configuration is completely lost, and I have to re-add the index, the lookups, and then the services do restart properly, so they're failing while that isn't in place. That's a minor issue, but it's one that I'd like to get fixed. I'd like to understand why it doesn't retain the Pulumi configuration between restarts. Similarly, the SQL Server one, this one's annoying me because it is basically intermittently, these are not available when starting up. Now, I believe what I need to do, so I've put some depends, put some depends on in some of these places to see if it helps with the data storage retention. I won't know until I've restarted it a few times if that works. So I'm trying to, say, okay, well, the deployment, it depends on the service and see if I can get the order of things starting up in. Good morning. Hope it's going well so far. I'm working on getting my headphones to work this morning, so no audio for a bit. There is. So MongoDB is the more frustrating one, but I figured I'd start with console because it might be a little easier, he says. Now I do have this stored as read-write. The console storage is read-write, so it should be able to retain it. But basically, when it restarts, the key value store is not retained. So my best guess there is that in the Docker version of this, I store config certs. That's server one JSON. So I store, hold on. So I don't store the entire directory, I store server one JSON. That's interesting. Does that actually have the same thing? Oh, not Mongo. Console. So go here and do cd/console cconfig ls. I don't see server one JSON there, do you? Nope. So interesting that it has. Oh, hold on. That's everything. That's Mongo, SQL Server. Oh dear. Why is all that in console? What have I overlapped here? I've borrowed something that I shouldn't have borrowed, I think. So Mongo, ls Mongo storage in that namespace, mount data. I've either copied and pasted something I shouldn't have done. ls log storage pv, mount logs. Host path. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. That's mount logs, mount data. Oh, that's why. Mongo data. Let's start this from scratch. SQL Server data. Index. Mount. Console data. We don't have a mount for that one yet. Redis doesn't have it. Mongo, SQL Server, and console are pretty much it right now. Let's try that now. Let's see what happens. If I'm storing them all in the same place, their configurations that they're depending on are going to overwrite each other at some point. So yeah. Morning, Dota. How you doing? You good? Rewrote my blog article again. Trying to get that wording perfect. I don't even know what thematic unity was before. I feel like I've heard that phrase. Thematic unity. Staying on topic. Okay. Okay, so this should all get wiped out now, basically. Because when I restart it, all its data stores are going to go into different places, is the goal. So my hope is that the MongoDB issue is caused by the fact that I've got all the others being stored in the same directory. So all the sentences connect with each other, paragraphs connect, sections connect. Made sense. It's easy to drift off as you're doing stuff. So yes, I'm gonna have to recreate everything, but hopefully bringing it down and bringing it back up again will yield better results. Well, that being said, I probably want to. ChatGPT has been great for creating writing. That's where I think it excels, that sort of stuff. Helping rather than doing. Yeah. It's a lot of tenses in my sentences. It seems to do that perfectly. It's also good at pointing out the thematic unity issues. Ah. Oh, we're back in that world, aren't we? We had to do some changes, didn't we, in the directory structure to get this to work properly. CD Mongo mod 777. See if that works. So what I'm trying to do is give all these the right access. Well, that's interesting. Maybe I just need to give it the right user. CD console data ls cd mongo ls SMTL shmod 777 sudo. So I have a feeling that console's running. That's interesting. Which one did I just change? Did I change? I thought I changed Mongo, not console. I did. Let's see. So it makes sense that I was screwing this up by putting everything in the same directory. I understand that. Challenging that I've got to do something like that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when these cycle around. I expect them to still fail because SQL Server's failing, right? And SQL Server was failing, yeah, because it can't access the file. So we had this one last time. So cd SQL Server ls chmod sudo chmod. Does that work? Recursive sudo chmod. My recap shows that I've watched you for 350 hours. I very much appreciate that. That is wow. Oh, did I share the other day? What did I share the other day? I shared the I didn't share the stream stats. Where's the stream stats? How do you get to your recap afterwards? Is there a way of doing it? Oh, Twitch 20, there's a menu entry. As a streamer, I have streamed 650 hours across 259 streams, 253 days, and 5,476 total watch hours. So you are a big portion of the watch hours. My top stream reached 2.05k viewers. No, it didn't. They were all bots. The biggest fans, Mr. Jones, Mojo, One Lion, Mr. Anhorn, Canny, and Delta. There you go. Dan being the biggest raider. We've sent 233 raids, more than anything to full bots. And I really watch your streams nowadays. You're my first hour of work. I appreciate that. 6 clips. I don't even want to go back and look at the clips. People clip. I've found people clip very strange things about. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. 2.9 thousand followers. I wish. That'd be awesome. And there we go. So I was giving that time to do what it needed to do. Okay, let's go back here. Sudo chmod 777-r star. Oh no, -r 777 star MongoDB. Sudo chmod -r 777 console. Okay. What's the real follow number? Well, I'm now at 1137, so the real follower number, I think, since last year is probably somewhere like 400 followers. 300 or 400 followers, maybe. I was well below 1,000 at the beginning of the year. Yeah. But no, I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Did I just close headlamp? I did close headlamp. I have a habit of doing that. Nice. When you are streaming, you're doing extremely cool stuff. Okay, MongoDB came up this time. Okay, nice. Okay, so now we just need to create the databases because I bet they're filling on the databases not being there. Yeah, okay. I did it again. 2D makes me realize the time of day you stream and the consistency is important. This is hard for us to figure out. Yeah, yeah. This time is the annoying thing overall is if I stream for another hour, the viewer numbers will go up consistently. Like one more hour, 9 to 10, the viewer numbers will start to climb more because more people are actually engaging. Because again, West Coast US is waking up and coming online, and I get the benefit of those couple of hours. So if I stream for longer throughout the week, those numbers are more consistent. That's why evenings. I've had the chance, obviously, with my knee to do evening streams, but I didn't want to do that because it just sets a bad pattern. And also, the game streams. That's why I've used the other channel so that I don't mess with these numbers and it doesn't blur the lines. Crash hard in the evenings. Okay, so all these databases are gone, which is fine. But now we've got a fresh database and it should initialize. Let's run that one. Now there should be a case of just taking these, dragging them on there, running them. Taking these, dragging them on there, running them. Oh, no, 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 no. What? Oh, I just create all that in master. Like a dingaling. Why did that not? Where's tenant management? Tenant management. Associated. Did these not have specifiers on them? So how did you create it in the master database? Come on. Drop. Okay, let's try that again. We take that over there. Yeah, that should work against the master DB. Can't create file because it already exists. Oh. I had 25,000 total chats sent in my channel. My bot is very chatty. Especially weird hour for me. It's always been 5 to 6 p.m. Prime decompression time. Yep. 6 databases are more expensive than one, aren't they? So yeah, I could. I could throw everything in one database. But then I've got a blurring of the lines of the data. So how do I now separate out the data? Well, I can use schemas. That gets messy. And then I'm going to have read and writes all against the same database. So if the system grows, that's even harder. Well, the plan is to, once this is running, is to, again, right now, the cost is the machine, right? And even if I get this up and running well enough, I will probably run a Kubernetes cluster. We're not sure yet. We'll have to explore that based upon the feedback we get as the system grows, right? That's I gotta delete that directory. Well, I don't have to do that directory. I just need to correct this piece. So the Mongo here, SQLServer, I didn't change this piece, so it's getting the logs from there. So it's got logs of tables that already exist, but I'm just recreating them. So I've got the data and the logs separately. If you're starting in production, you deploy in the cloud, you mostly get hit with RAM storage costs now, so splitting your DBs is not as bad anymore. You're going to manage databases, which are very costly. Again, this deployment is to understand what the actual needs are, like changing the services around the other day. That was, oh, well, if I do that, then I now have a deployment concern, whereas I could have carried on with that design for longer. I changed that because of this, and this will give me an idea of stuff, what I want to add in, metrics and things I want to learn about, and I can ask those questions and put them in place. DB backups, no, not right this second. I mean, I know how to do DB backups, but again, the things like the view don't need backing up. Things like changes needs backing up. Things like the planning items, tasks, etc. Those databases need backups. Put them all into one database though. You got to be careful. So there'd have to be a strategy for doing that as well. So schemas would be the easiest thing to, well, saying that, I've never seen anyone actually use schemas to do data separation in that way. But you also end up with merge concerns. The MS SQL, you're buying a managed server and you can pay as you go for those now. The serverless options is really nice. Yeah, I'm still planning on switching to Postgre. Um, Postgre, whatever you want to say. Make the logs sudo chmod 777 logs. Let's see if that works that way. Pulumi up -1. That might be more expensive than using MS SQL if you're going to use cloud. Because it's actually a dedicated server. So I do know of several companies that actually are switching away from using SQL Server because of the costs, and they are cloud vendors. Well, past Pi 512. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the right thing is. I mean, yeah, obviously MS SQL comes with. I've got a lot more experience using MS SQL. And we don't have to make that decision now, right? That decision can come much later when it comes time to figure out, okay, what does this look like as an actual deployment? Again, I wouldn't be virtualizing SQL. Yeah. Well, that's why DBA is a role. That's why DevOps is a role. There is just too much in a modern development environment to do everything yourself and do it well. Okay, so what we need to do, so that's started up. Let's see if we can now create this database. So the problem was that, so that user should still be there. Nope, because we don't have the port open. They're probably moving to other clouds in Azure, because in Azure it's cheaper to use MS SQL. Looked into both as a vector DB for embedding AIDB, and Postgre came with a $250 price tag a month minimum. SQL was pay as you go. Interesting. Not a valid login. Okay. That's going to fail again because that's. Okay. That's planning items. So we should see tenant management or planning. Planning should come back up. Yeah, I'm using a T framework. tasks, tenant management. Should have done that one first, probably. No red. View. Did I reorder these? We'll find out shortly. It should be easy to move from any DB to test. Do you agree with these for forums or are you generally against them? I generally agree with ORMs. I don't see the benefit in having a lot of hand-built SQL. I feel that doing this the way I've done it, I actually now consider that if I need to write hand-built SQL, it's normally a reporting concern, and I would split out reporting as a separate DB anyway now. So even if I have reports in the application, those are not going to be pulled from this data. They're going to be pulled from data. So in that case, I can choose not to use an ORM, right? And I think that a lot of those opinions are based on the blurred lines. I think that it's because we've got one monolith database that does many things. And even if we're microservicing, it's still using the same database. I hate seeing reporting concerns merged into a main database. I've tried to get people to change that for years where reporting is a separate database anyway. And separate schema, so it's optimized for the reporting. And I think that's where things like Snowflake and stuff come along, right? Where people can build these data warehouses and yeah. Okay, let's see. That failed 20 seconds ago. Why are you failing? You should be failing because of yep. Okay. So they're failing because of console, because yet again that didn't work. I almost swore then. Sorry. Because this does not want to save. I did not live through a restart again. I'm doing something wrong there. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if these restart and come back up safely. It is tenant management tasks, changes. These are all ones that consume Kafka. So yeah. Yeah, I think ORMs are a terrible use case for complicated queries. They're separate. I'm a SQL Server for all our reporting. I tried using Cosmos at first, but that got expensive and Cosmos can't do totals averages. I think SQL Server is perfectly fine for reporting. Like that's probably what it's best at anyway. But I just think that when we have a schema for viewing data, just because it's a schema for viewing data doesn't mean we should have the same schema for reporting on the data, because the asks of it are very different. Using the same DB to do reporting is good, but I think that's where things like Kafka are going to help me, right? Where that, I mean, okay, yeah, the data's not going to be 100% in sync, but you're not likely to do an action and then want to report on it immediately afterwards. Again, you're probably looking at like average burn down time, average for this, average, number of open tasks, maximum open time, etc. You want those sorts of reports. Mojo, good morning, by the way. Okay, one more, and the system's up and running. And all we have to do. There we go. is bring it down and restart and see what doesn't work again. I mean, that's, yeah. Yeah. And again, I think one of the benefits of this is that if I decide that I need a better way to view things on the client, the reports or whatever, then there's nothing saying I can't create another API endpoint and stick it behind two different data sources, two different methods of doing it, and like load balance to validate which one's better and which one's quicker, etc. Or you know, I can experiment with those things. So a reports page to see generated reports and the stats of the background processing. Nice. But yeah, okay. In theory, I have a system up and running. Now watch. I'm gonna need that again in a second. Pulumi down dash Y. So actually, before I do that, I'm gonna go check something. CD da ls CD console ls data ls. Nothing in there. It didn't store anything. Nothing in there. That's the old stuff. Interesting. Yeah, I generate reports scares me. RM minus RF data sudo RM minus RF logs. Oh, so why is that not storing? Let's figure out that one. Basically, what I want to do is be able to turn this on, turn this off, turn this on, turn this off, and see that it comes up and down, because I don't want to say, hey, you can log in and test this now, then shut it down and then have to start all over again, unless I decide to start all over again. But I doubt you would give customers access to that DB since you would not understand. Yeah. So the problem lies in console. So that's how I set up console originally. There's two separate volumes. Certs. Do I need to do that? And read only as well. That's an interesting one. Well, I suppose it doesn't really make a difference, does it? Let's go back. Let's make sure that this is configured the same way, and then we'll. So what I have, page down, is that. So I have data console. So the console slash data. That goes config. Where does server one come from? That's the problem. Server one.json. I don't understand where server one JSON comes from. That seems like a name I should control. And then certs. Do I need to worry about certs? I use the same persistent volume claim for two different volume mounts. Maybe you can make a vector database out of planning items for AI. Wait, is AI in the LS plans, or are you talking AI? AI has been in the LS plans since the beginning, but not in the near term. Liquid Sky. I've had AI on the list of things to introduce since my very first designs. If it can find or generate a response, we have a tune to just give a no answer. Huh. Basically, store your plan items in a form that AI can process it. You can ask plan items questions like, what are you currently working as a company? Yeah. My focus on AI would be primarily trying to help people gather, provide accurate requirements and word it correctly. So actually, to closer to what you're doing with your blog stuff, helping them write something that makes sense and outline stuff. That's kind of where I'd first start. Yeah, being able to analyze the data from a um, um, you know, a context thing after the fact would be in there, but definitely the primary reason would be to help people write better outlines and stories, and give more meaningful requirements. That's, I feel that's the part people don't want to write, right? Um, that's my primary focus. Yeah. Can I use? No, because it'll go to the same directory, won't it? That's the point. Uh, so I need a separate volume. I don't know if it's necessary, but we'll see. Maybe that's why it doesn't retain it, because it doesn't have the certificate time to time. Um, yes, kernel memory on top of semantic kernel. Oh, snoring. Okay, let's do log volume, cert volume. Console certs PV certs. Try and do this. Told me it was more research type library. Everyone wanted to do the self-host LM thing. Was that the reason for a couple? Either deployables or standalone service. I don't use other things. So storage. Got a feeling this is going to certs. Yeah, let's do it that way. That way, that is exactly the same way as that one. Read write once. Now is that when I specify that? No, I need. What do I specify on SQL? Read write once. Okay, so it is the same way. What is? Okay, time to learn. I have context. Forgive me if I'm not engaging in the LLM discussion. I'm like super focused on getting off this phase. I really want to be in the position where tomorrow I can just say, "Hey, do you want to play?" You guys are having a good conversation about AI and stuff. You need to write to the volume and have many or multiple pods. You need to write to the volume where you prefer the flexibility as pods being scheduled to different nodes. If you need to write to a volume, but either you don't have the requirement that multiple pods should be able to write to it or write many, simplest and available option, use read write once. If you only need to read from the volume and you have multiple pods needing to read from the volume where you'd prefer the flexibility of those pods being scheduled to different nodes and read only many is an option. Read write once is fine. I'm not, but this would trip me up if I started messing around with scale out. Is basically what I'm learning there. So that's going to hurt me later. But that's fine. Okay, let's do Pulumi up. That's why. Let's see if that changes that volume. We flew everyone in for a holiday party today. Are you better? My wife has also been sick, as have 200 of her school this last week. Even a holiday party on a Thursday? Cool. I've installed LM Studio. I did do some playing with it because I was playing with semantic kernel and stuff a while ago, but I haven't really got back to it. Too focused on this. Yes, on a Thursday. I don't know why. Maybe my boss likes Thanksgiving. Maybe. Okay, let's see. Storage. I think I have to do anything special on the other side. Why do I keep starting Godot? Yeah. CD console ls CD data ls. Something's wrong there. Devs are checking out early for lunch, and we're probably going to have long discussions about going forward. We've made so much progress this week. Nice. Good to hear it. Good to hear it. Okay, cluster, what's going on? Waiting for volume to be created either by the external provisioner or manually by the system administrator. Volume creation is delayed. Please verify the provisioner is running and correctly registered. Don't do this to me. Okay. Glue me down. Dash Y. This is scary just how much stuff this is actually doing now. I mean, I've got into a pattern and it works, but it's just there's a lot of stuff to it. Just gotta wait for the delete. Once I can do this a few times and it works fine, then we'll have a chat about letting people in and playing. I'd really like tomorrow to be that day. Still trying to figure out how I um, sorry. Trying to figure out how I structure any sort of feedback that I gather. I think what I'm going to do is just let you guys, if you want to play Tinker, it won't be very long. It's not like there's a lot there. Just things that aren't set up. Azure storage isn't set up, so uploading files won't work yet. So I've got to figure that out. Actually, might spend, if I can get this up and running now, I might actually spend some time creating a local file storage version rather than using that, so that I don't have to worry about Azure storage being in place. Yeah, let's divert onto a completely different project and spend weeks doing that. But no, I want this, any feedback to be structured. I think, though, in the first phase, any feedback is kind of just not what I'm after. It's more, hey, you want to play with it, you want to see what it does, see if it feels right. Again, we've got to get someone to do a design, because obviously from a UI UX perspective, it is not where I want it to be either. That's fine. Okay, so that is the console problem. That's fine. Don't mind if console is down one more time. The configuration. Like if I wanted to, I could deal with this, right? If everything else works and it's consistently working, just with that one exception, then that's okay. It's when everything else doesn't work that's the problem. They should restart now. That is still bugging me. Why is that not doing the? What have I misconfigured there? Console, persistent volume, ls console storage, PV, PVC, ls console certs, PV, retain, 100 meg, mount console certs, storage certs, PVC. That would do it, wouldn't it? Hey, you've got 100 meg capacity. Hey, can I have 500 meg, please? That would definitely do it. Oh, okay. So I can create a persistent volume and then make different claims against the volume. So I could create one console volume and one SQL Server volume of 5 gig and then give 1 and 4. Okay, makes sense now. Makes sense. Pulumi down, -y. This is why I'm doing this. This learning is more practical than anything else. So yeah, I could condense that down. Let me try that with the console stuff. So I could remove that, make that 500 meg, make that 300, and then make cert storage be 100, 200 or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Of can I do it that way? Let's see. Probably not the right time to be doing it. Storage, data, storage class name, resources request, depends on. So how does that actually do that then? That's interesting. Let's see. Come on. So if memory serves, this is because this no, oh no, that's working. Just takes its sweet time now. Zoom it up, that's why. Let's see if that works. So I'm thinking I don't need to make a persistent volume every single time for every single claim. I can make claims against the volume. We'll see. Hey, Luffy, how you doing? Welcome back. What's there? Hey, Apex, how you doing? Yeah, one line has given me the secret to the Restream startup. Go into YouTube, go live, set up hit the go live button, set up the stream, go into Twitch, set up the stream the way I want it, then open Restream bot, then I navigate, I open the bot and it gives me the link to go to the dashboard. Go into the dashboard, I go and create the event off of the YouTube stream, then I turn off and on the YouTube stream and it logs in and everything works and it's done that consistently. So faff, it's out of order. If you start OBS or you start the stream up too early, nothing will work. You can't log in. Doing all right. I'm working on a side project, trying to solve issues with frameworks. Also, that's wild. Yeah. Yeah. I am just so thankful that one line is as analytical as he is because I was ready for throwing it out the window. Let's see if this is working any better. I don't think it is. Bound. $500 meg. 500. Why 500 meg? Why is console certs? What? Oh no, that's made a right mess of that, hasn't it? Put it back. Put it back. How does that? Oh, that's bonkers. What is that doing? Hmm. No worries, Mojo. Thanks for the luck. So, if you just joined, what I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to get the deployment of the Liquid Sky application to the Kubernetes cluster working. I've overcome some challenges, figured out some misconfiguration on my side. But the goal is very much that by tomorrow's stream, the application will be up and running. And if people want to, they can log in and give it a test. You were my top rater on my streams in 2024. It's a good time to celebrate. Oh, thank you very much for the gifts. I'm sorry, I read up there and then see that. Thank you, Apex. I do appreciate it. Nerkmind as well. Thank you. I very much appreciate the support. It's fun doing this. Not this. This is not the development I want to be doing. Yeah, hopefully into 2025, Liquid Sky starts to take some real shape, and we get some features in there that make it that show all the things that I've been trying to get to for the past year. And this stream continues to benefit there. Okay, let's see. So what I just changed was I was like, oh well, maybe the volume claim and the storage don't have to be aligned, but that seemed to mess the order up of things. So we're not going to do that. We are going to do, however, that. We're going to make sure that the volume claim and the volume are the same size. So we're not trying to claim volume space that isn't available. It does make me question, is it just this that aligns? Oh, hold on. Console data. Let's make sure that doesn't create some labeling issues, because as I've learned multiple times already, labels aren't just labels. They are very much used for binding things together. MongoData, SQL Server, SQL Server data. Oh, persistent volume. Oh, very much almost made a mistake there. SQL Server log. So those labels, let's see if that changes that behavior, because now I'm going to end up with less overlap. And again, part of why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure I understand at least the basics of what it is to deploy the application, not go too deep down the rabbit hole of all the features that I ever want to get to before trying this. Also, if I can get this in, and let's say tomorrow you're able to come onto the stream, you can sign up, let me know the email you're signing up with, and I can approve that user. When I can do that and you can tinker with this application, you can start to see some of that, because it's easy showing it for me, but it's not always easy to follow along with what I'm talking about. I get that. I get that because of the complexity of the application, sometimes it's a little bit, and also, you're not sat here watching those 2 hours every single day. You might be listening for 5 minutes here and there. You might be just dropping in and hanging out, right? But the application in general is appealing. So at least giving hands on the application, you'll be able to see some of those ideas, actually, how they work, how they flow. Now, are things going to work perfectly? no, things are not going to work perfectly. Things are going to fail. Things are going to struggle. Okay, so certs has got 100 meg. Console storage has 500 meg. There we go. Those are those things. There's 500 meg. There's 100 meg. Okay, so there's the workloads. My pods will be failing because they've not got no console. Because why would it actually persist? Is that actually still up? Yeah, I didn't think you were. He was lying to me. All this, by the way, is so that I can stop doing this every time I start the system up. I'm trying to create this configuration. So when they start up, each service that uses Kafka has a console connection, and it reaches out to the console key value store and says, do you have the Kafka configuration? And it pulls the Kafka configuration in. This is to avoid copying and pasting this list into every single thing, or selecting the pieces that each thing wants and putting it into each thing. So everyone has the global list of, here's the event type that you're going to deal with, and if you're publishing it or receiving it, here's the topic it's going to come from. So when we say, hey, I want to listen to this event, it says, oh, I need to subscribe to this topic. And when I publish this event, it says, here's the topic it goes to. It can be overridden, but that's a provider that is supported pretty early on because it helped. So let's see if these start up and run. Let's get SQL Server connected again so that I can... Dogs. That's not good. That means it wiped out the SQL Server storage. Ouch. But that's not surprising, being that I kind of overrode it before. So I'm not going to panic too much about that right this second, but let's find out. So let's go here, run that. Already exists. That's interesting. Run. No errors. Tenant management. Tasks. Run. Planning items. And again, doing this is not a problem. If I have to wipe this out multiple times and start all over again, it's fine. The purpose, again, is to keep practicing this, keep doing this while developing. Learn these pain points so that by the time I am actually ready to say, yep, this is actually going to be a product. Why is that? Oh, because that's just views. You know, by the time I'm ready to say this is a product that's ready, then you know you are able to. I can trust the fact that I can deploy it reliably and not have everything go wrong, or even if things do go wrong, understand what they're going to require to fix. But we should have all green. Across the board green. Okay. Well, that was fun. You just got your headphones working? You had audio issues? Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so just skip the sound card and plug my headphones into the AV receiver. Huh. I dislike. The worst one is when you didn't change anything. You just started up and everything's just not working again. Okay. CD console ls cd certs ls cd dot cd data ls cd dot chmod 777 dash r the same thing that happened with the app functionality. I'm still troubleshooting. It's frustrating when we get to that sort of stuff. CD data, right? No, sometimes we just chase things for no seemingly good reason. What I'm checking here is to see if there's any trace of the other. So obviously what I found was I had, see MongoDB lock is in there in the logs file. Why is MongoDB lock in there with the logs? That's annoying. What? Oh no. Do I have a word thing? Yeah, no. Did I see something about Microsoft telling users not to upgrade, not to run Windows updates? I thought there's a bad update rolled out. Driver that's but functionality breaks for my sound card. It doesn't recognize the Strix device, and I was just using it last night. Windows 11, yeah, broke a lot of EA games. Not really missing much there, are we? So MongoDB somehow managed to get mixed in my logs there. So let's just validate that I didn't copy and make a typo. Mongo data. No, I didn't. But I did have it tagged as data originally. So there's a potential that that got mixed in there before, but now that should be in here. Nope. Oh yeah, Mongo lock. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm good there. Storage.bson, yeah. That I think I mixed them before. It fixed a lot of your games. Oh no, Windows 11 is the bad update. That could very much be the issue from the personal computer, the audio issue, but for the servers, that couldn't be a factor since they only do manual. Yeah. It's like chasing the nothing changed, but everything broke. And again, it's we give time estimates on things, and things just don't work the way we expect them to work. Yeah. Okay, so Liquid Sky Software, as it is right this second. There is an actual name for this. I'm not sharing the name, but there is an actual name. But Liquid Sky is what it will go by until the point at which it's actually product worthy. So signing is not going to. That's a that's a downside. Signing is not going to work. Oh wow, signing worked. Signing shouldn't have worked. Signing works there because the user is registered in Auth0. There's nothing. There's no tenant checks when they log in, which needs to be there, right? So there's nothing saying which tenant. Oh, that tenant doesn't exist. Get out, right? So what I need to do there is remove that user. The test user needs to be removed from Auth0. I was listening to some Shopify exec talk about releasing a boring update where they just focus on fixes for the update, no new features, he said. And I agree with, I wish Microsoft would just do a boring update for Windows and clean it all up. What? Oops, something went wrong. Yeah. So what I need to do is remove test at test.com, test customer. delete the user. Because the problem is right now, technically I could log in with any of the users that have been set up, and it would let me in, but there would be no data. The queries would be failing and silently, etc., because they're not been set up in this database. So our development stuff, we could technically try and log in with the same credentials, and it would let us in because they're all merged into one right now. I'm not messing around with creating another Auth0 tenant, setting up the applications, setting up different keys, etc., when it's all part of the development environment anyway. At the point where it becomes very important to keep the data separate, yeah. They had permission to just refactor and optimize the update cycle. And I bet it stabilized a lot of things. It's a hard decision for a business to make, right? You know, to put on hold any customer features, to put on hold any things that are kind of cool. And I was kind of going into this yesterday in a discussion about there's a fine line between implementing features that you deem required and just implementing features that are how do I put it? Well, let me change that. Who and what is driving? It's not just value versus valuable. It's who is driving the need for those things, right? Yes, the customer. There is a marketplace, right? And there's a need for a product. But at some point, you've got to decide: am I sacrificing the vision I have of what the product should be? Am I understanding what my users actually need versus want, because they're not always the same? Because it's like developing a system, developing a rebuild of a system, right? If you take an existing system and then say, hey, what do you need? Your users invariably are going to tell you all the things they do now. So they're essentially asking you for all the things you do now. You've got no chance to innovate there or reflect on what it does. And change things for the better, because you're not doing you're not asking the right questions. And who is driving the features? Are you going out to customers and seeing how they're working with the software? Are you saying, hey, what do you want? And then in terms of the customer, is it the customer management asking for those things, or is it the actual users of the system? Because the management expectation, again, it's like Jira, right? Jira is a tool that is built to report on our progress, and it tracks our work if we do it right. You know, I saw another process breakdown yesterday, and it's because the tooling doesn't give us the ability that Jira does not give us the ability to understand where something is once it's gone beyond the development phase, right? Once it's out of development, right, it's up to a developer to track where that is in terms of the release cycle, and that's a lot of work if we're going to keep developers productive. We're going to miss things. We're going to, you know, so who is driving requirements, and who is driving and who is validating those requests? And sometimes having the ability to say we need to stabilize the software because there's things that have got put in there that we don't that we added because, you know, some customer asked or whatever. And it's why I'm trying to figure out how to gather feedback on this product, right? I don't want to open this up and then everyone come in and go, oh, it'd be cool if it did this, it'd be cool if it did this, it'd be cool if it did this, right? Not that I'm expecting that, but, you know, the potential is there. And if I do that, I've then got to make a really, I've got to be very honest with anything that I say, okay, that's a good idea. I like that idea. I don't want to do that because this isn't the way I see it working, and validate everything against what I'm actually I see in the product. And because the product isn't developed yet, the product isn't there yet. And that's a challenge. And that redirected to localhost, didn't it? That's interesting. Why did that redirect to localhost? We might have a client change coming. Localhost 4200, return to. There you go. That's why. When we log out, we go to 4200, and it just so happens that was running, so it will look like it was working fine. We need that to go to environment dot environments. Login URI URL production login URL. Hold on, does that? Why doesn't that do that? Does it? Localhost 4200. Sign in. We need to run. We need to run the bare minimum. Read only. So on the bottom of my list, MLS is working in public about open source software. Open source, I would imagine, has a very different set of challenges to developing regular software, because there's you might end up with the too many cooks. You might end up with all sorts of other things. So, be interested if anyone has any ideas on how how would you run this phase? Like because right now the application is up and running, essentially, with a few pieces missing. There are a few extra services I need to build out. Ship it, yeah. But there's not that much stuff to actually. Communications is the other one. Notifications and communications are the other two that need to be done, but they're very minor. They don't stop everything else working. Attachments, yeah, well, we'll work on this in a minute. No, I'm not talking about launch. I'm not talking about market. I'm talking about right now. If I'm going to open this up to people that have been watching the stream and want to play with it, I do want some to ask some questions, right? On but I've got to be balanced on how I do that. I don't want to just open it up and have everyone create a bunch of data and then wipe it all out, right? We got to fix that part as well before I actually let people mess around, because otherwise it's just going to fail. Yeah, I'm just interested in how would you handle this piece? Okay, so if I get to log out, yeah, that doesn't work because logout is slash. I need to give it a URL. Okay. And that was dumb. No, I'm not talking about go to market. That is a long way away. There's a lot more stuff to go in here before it actually is prepared for that. This is going to be environment dot logout URL. Login URL. Yeah, login URL. Fine. And then this one is going to be and then that one actually in here needs to be that one. This worked pretty well. Why not? At work we recently did. Oh, hold on a second. I think I just lost control of that chat a bit. Why not? At work, we recently did a project and we opened it to a few internal folks directly in the team and did wipes every few weeks. It's worked pretty well, so I opened it to more people. I'm using this terminology wrong, but I'm just opening it up to people and see what happens. So, what I do want to make sure of is that I'm not asking for people to bug fix. I'm not asking people to call out bugs every time. I know there's a lot of bugs. I don't want people to be just going, oh, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do this, this works, this failed. I tried this. I'm not asking for people to, I'm just asking for, hey, have a click through, see if the ideas make sense, see if there's a workflow that doesn't feel right. What's your opinion on the information it is capturing? How would you do this? And see if their process would adapt. I'm not trying to get someone to use the application fully because it's not in that state. It's in a somewhat ready state, but I don't want to gather a deep form of feedback, but I do want to be able to get some feedback, and also ignore. I'm not looking for people to give me ideas on how, oh, it could do this, oh, it should do this, etc. I'm not trying to chase that down. Yeah. So at this stage, and this might be a bit much, I'd add a feedback page that receives feedback about specific features and user journeys, as in you decide what you want feedback about. Also leave a space for additional free-form feedback. This should get done to a database. Instead of feeding the free-form feedback through GPT to summarize and turn it into actionable items. But I'm not looking for people to drive the, why is that actually failing on? Environment, production, development. Oh, probably not in development. That's why. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I guess enough people have expressed interest in tinkering with this that I'd like to give them the chance to play with it while it's still in its early phases. I would like some level of feedback, but I'm not asking for everyone to, they're not testing it, right? Um, from my perspective, I'm not asking for people to bug fix and identify issues with the system at this phase. That's a whole later phase. But giving people the chance um, to tinker and see if it, oh, this wouldn't work because of this, or this doesn't fit. Um, yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to figure that out because I don't want to just open it up and uh, you know. So I see the point, Apex. Like just opening it up and letting people play is fine. Um, so I'm just this I believe has a work file attached to it. Um, um, Navigate to login URL on logout void. Let's make sure I don't have any more 4200s in here. Launch.json. Ugh. Oh, that's launch.json. That doesn't really matter. That's all. Yeah, commit and push. My thought right now is setting up the gate stuff like one line in, but then if people report bugs for future ideas, that's fine too. Yeah, I need to reach out to some people that I've talked to before and figure out if they're interested in tinkering. But again, it's you and I are going to be the biggest testers of it initially because of the dog fooding aspect. Getting it to a place where we can actually use this to dog food um, development of it is going to give us the best idea of whether it's working in the short term. Yeah. Pointed in app questionnaire for the things you do care about receiving feedback on. Yeah, it's you know, it's not like I'm releasing this to thousands of people, right? It's not like I'm expecting an influx of ideas and thoughts. It's just I want to put some structure around getting any feedback if people, because again, I'm doing this with the hope that it would become something that it does help something, and I'd like to be able to allow you guys to tinker with it and see if it does feel like it's going to work. Go work. Have fun. Enjoy your day. Okay. So that is pushing. Does that builds automatically? So when that goes up, so the client is actually a separate repo at this point. When that gets pushed, that will build, push an image. Um, yeah. So that's push the image. And now we should be able to go to here. No, here. The tool that will turn PM salaries to 5 figures. Low 5. PM salaries aren't 5 figures. Oh, sorry. My brain just latched onto that one when I figured out what 5 figures meant. Um, okay, my naming convention's starting to bite me right now. The client deployment. Dear. So now that deployment has gone, right? There's now a new image, and now I can just do this. Delete the pod. It's set to always pull the image. So this will just pull the latest image. And now that should be fixed. Oh, liquid. So sign in. You shouldn't let me in. What are you doing? Okay, I'm looking. Go drive. Take care, Mojo. Thanks. That's a caching thing, isn't it? Disable cache. No, not on that one. This should fail. This should give me a login page. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay. So while this is up, if you go to the address and try and sign up, you can try and sign up. You will not be able to. You will be able to sign in afterwards, but it will give you nothing because you've got no permissions. So I would, whatever email you sign up with, you would be required to let me know what the email is so I can go in and check. And I would ask that no one does anything attempt to be malicious in any way. Okay, so this would be Liquid Sky. No, this would be well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? Jeffrey Winkle. It's not going to send any emails at this point. Jeffrey at LS. Password. Proceed. Liquid Sky Software Inc. Add Hoboken J. United States of America. Okay, no thanks. Okay, so For it to get to this screen means that it has done all the right pieces for signing up. Hey, it's coding. How you doing? Welcome in. Australia there. Hey, Raven. How you doing? Dark Raven. How's things? How are things in the land of Oz? So we go here, go here. We should have users and stuff. In my life of Apex, but good. I'm doing good. We're getting to the point where the application is starting to take shape. We got the deployment working for the most part. We need to test, we need to validate other things. kubectl, get services, NLS, Kafka, kubectl port forward, SVC, Kafka, AKHQ service, 8089 to 8080, NLS Kafka. So that'll allow me to be able to do 8089 here so I can see topics. So there's our 3 topics. Now I haven't created all the topics ahead of time, but I'm about to do that now so that I don't end up with more issues. Because basically what I need to do there is restart the services, otherwise they're not going to consume the topics. So that's something I'm going to have to figure out in the scripting, is getting these as part of the actual startup. So what this will do is if I go in here, actually I can remove tenant users and users, right? So I can, everything down here is what I want, right? So if I go here and go to pods and go to Kafka. So when you're using Kafka, okay, my names don't make sense. This is not fun. When you're using Kafka, the configuration and of the topics of the partitions, etc., is very much a part of the deployment, right? You've got to understand a lot about getting everything configured. Sorry, my brain is all over the place right this second because I'm thinking about 3 different things at once. So one line is very nice, very kindly doing shout outs for me, because the intention is once Liquid Sky is up and running enough to get this phase, so I get a good stopping point, I'm going to pivot for a few weeks and build out developers.stream, which is a website focused around promoting developers and providing APIs for doing the shout outs. So providing the ability for the developers themselves to go off and do the set up the configuration, and we'll seed it with one line's very kindly built blurbs about the different streamers that we shout out. I'm not trying not to shout people out. I really do appreciate it, but yeah, my brain is all over the place. So yeah. Due to limitations in metric names, topics with a period or underscore. Yeah, I'm not using periods or underscores. Okay, there you go. But yeah, the intention will be to get developers.stream up and running, and then we can make it a consistent part of the stream. Okay, so with all these created, the problem now is that I don't the individual services that use them are not going to work because they're not going to subscribe, right? You do stream. Okay, now I gotta leave and take Nate to school. Have fun. BBB, thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate it. I streamed too early for some people. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, what I need to do is figure out how to run that script. Why did that star out soon? Why does it deem soon as a curse word? Ah, oh well. So rather than restart the entire system, I'm going to just delete the pods, which will restart them and it will subscribe them to the topics now. Without the topics there, you can't create the topics after the fact because you'll see there's no consumer groups. So nothing's actually subscribed. And I don't think it'll actually start listening because the topics didn't exist when it started. These are okay. But what I need to do is, where's the receivers? So I need to delete the changes receivers and the pipelines receivers and the view receivers. It'll recreate them. So because of the deployment set, and the deployment has a minimum availability, I can delete the pod and it'll regenerate the pod and start it all up again. So there's no harm in doing that, as far as I'm aware. So when the receivers start up, you see they have an integration. So now the view has consumed this users, and it should consume the topics. But it should only have to do that for the receivers. Receivers. Did that not delete that one? Else view integration, that's that one. Box. Okay, let's see if that works anyway. So with those topics there, consumer groups, view integration, topics. Interesting that the others don't start, but we'll find out in a second. All right. So I'm gonna go to auth 0. So again, like I said, if you were to try and sign up in the application right now, you can sign up. It won't get you very far. Because let's drop. This was awesome. I'm honored to be a VIP. Enjoy your day. Apex, thank you very much. I'm sorry that was not handed out sooner. I apologize. But yeah, have a great day. I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for the gift sub. Okay, so we have Jeffrey Winkle. Let's sign in. Jeffrey at test.com. Does it sign in? Continue that part. I'm trying not to use passkeys because I don't want to do anything there. Okay, so we are signed in. We should get a screen with nothing in it. Things should generally work. Let's go create our first planning item. So new item. Provide local storage attachments. That is using Liquid Sky on the local deployment. We do not want to risk users being able to upload large files to Azure storage. You need an alternative storage provider. So this will be by tomorrow. We're going to get this done. 13/2024. Assigned to bug. No projects. Okay, let's see. Did that fail? That failed. Okay. Start the process. Okay, so the problem there is the reason I was going into the user in the first place. And this is what you'd see if you were to sign up now, you would actually be able to create a tenant and sign up and even sign in. But because I've given you no permissions whatsoever, nothing will work. You won't be able to create anything. You won't be able to see anything. Nothing will work. So I need to go and apply permissions in Auth0. Okay, now let's see. Ooh, still got that bug. Log out. Still got that bug. Awesome. Why doesn't that redirect where I expect it to? Oh, yeah. Okay. These are the things I'm going to just discover as I go forward, as we start to test more. We're going to start. And I'm trying not to jump from issue to issue to issue to issue. I accept, and that's again what I'm saying from a feedback perspective. I've got to be careful. I don't just open the gates and say, "Hey, tell me all the issues," because I'm going to see the same issues reported over and over again, especially if I see them already. But I don't want to put out there, "Oh, I know about this, I know about this, I know about this," because then it will actually deter people from actually providing feedback. So it's how to gather at the right pace the feedback, and really be asking, is the process useful for you rather than what bugs are there? I don't need to test it. I need to just tell me, given the flow, given the process, does it do what you would like it to do? Okay, so we sign in again. Let's go here, new item, introduce local storage provider in order to manage file sizes properly and not rack up huge bills. We need to provide a local storage alternative for Azure storage of attachments. Again, this is going to get combined into purpose. Does this still give me nothing? That's weird that that does that. Okay, so we create that. There we go. So the fact that it appeared tells me that it did save on the back end. And now when we click it, it's not going to load immediately because this is now the round trip thing. So this is now validating that Kafka's working. So if I look here, I did not produce a planning item yet. There you go. There's a planning item produced, right? So now I click it again. And again, this is the eventual consistency thing. This is the start of stuff that I need to figure out. Do I want to basically provide a local version still all the time? Because right now, when you click on this, it goes to the server and makes the request. Ultimately, it should probably not do that. It should probably load what it's got locally, because it does store a version locally. But it's making those decisions about where the data should live and why. So there's the topic is there. There is no lag on the consumer group. We should have that. So if we go to the view, DBO, views, planning items, we have no planning item. Why we have no planning item? So if we go to the planning items tables, go to the Kafka outbox, there's the integration event, and it has process because obviously got out the Kafka. Is this just a cycle thing? That's there. That's there. Oh, changes figured it out. Okay, so changes latched on. It produced a change. It said there's a new item. That is a spa problem. Hey, Zones. Interesting. Oh, because it hasn't hit that yet. This is a routing versus spa problem. Interesting. Did it consume anything? Requirements, projects, tasks, users. Didn't consume anything yet. Let's go back here and delete the view receiver again. Delete. Yes. That looks healthier. What's the purpose of use view for performance? Yes. So on the view aspect of things, yes, view is an overloaded term here. I use the views because GraphQL is GraphQL against the views rather than the actual data stores themselves. So I'm writing to the data tables, but then I don't expose fields I don't want to expose in the GraphQL API. Still control them with the objects, but it does allow me to manage that a little better and create fit for purpose queries against GraphQL. So picked up the user. Doesn't have the planning item yet. Yeah, the views. When I started messing with GraphQL, and again, it's called view specifically to just keep it standing out, is yeah, CF core. So the GraphQL piece is literally just wire up to the DB context, and they are the view version. So the view DB context is set up with no tracking, but it allows me to talk about the tables as if they are the real tables. So I talk about users and projects and planning items, but it's actually the view version. So underneath the configuration is mapping to the view version, and again that restricts the columns that I actually have access to. So I don't expose internal IDs. Also, I can translate if I need to in the view, but it still functions with still functions appropriately when building the query. So doing it this way, it might seem weird to expose the DB context straight up into the view, but into the actual client query side. But doing it this way allows GraphQL to also adapt the query. So if I ask for 2 columns, it does select those 2 columns from the table. If I ask for 10 columns, it'll ask for all 10. If I ask for an associated column on a reference on a navigation property, it'll now do the join. But if I don't ask for that property, it won't do the join. So it's in some ways it's bad because it kind of breaks query caching, but in some ways it's good because it gives me the flexibility of only getting the information I need. And doing it this way, I also only get the information I need from the SQL side. So that data transfer is only the data I need and only the data I need down to the client. Doing it other ways that I've found with GraphQL is you basically end up dumping all the data from the server side and then just kind of filtering it out as you go down to the client. And yeah. So using projection allows it to flex the query appropriately. So it doesn't execute the query too soon. It works quite nicely. And again, the view combines all the Yeah, it uses lazy loading. So, but the view combines all the data from all the other pieces, and this is the only area that knows about, planning items, having references to projects and stuff like that. That's all resolved here. Mark, hello, how you doing? Been a while. I was actually just thinking about you. You said, I was like, I haven't seen you online in a few days. I was going to reach out and ask. I've never actually used. So this is my first time actually trying to use GraphQL, and so far I do the way I've set it up. I like. So again, the client, and this is one of the downsides, right? I've got that eventual consistency challenge to fight. There's no API that can immediately just say, "Hey, give me this data." But I can produce all this information out into it, and actually, this has subscriptions in it. So I actually have WebSocket stuff in here as well. So I can actually publish messages through GraphQL and subscribe to changes if I set it up right. And that's the long-term goal, is to subscribe to those changes so you can be told, hey, this object changed. At least in hot chocolate. I had to do some finagling there. Yeah, Obsidian. So Mojo got me onto Obsidian, and then we added the Excalibur plugin into it. And this is the documentation for me and Mojo to build on as well. So this is all committed to get its own repo. He says that, having not committed it in a little while, but in theory, all this is available to Mojo as well, as a commit, as a repository. Okay, well, I am not winning this one today, so I think what I need to do is figure out how to get those topics in place before the thing starts up. So I need to run a script on, because it's what's happening is it's not consuming all the events. This view integration has not consumed things. How are you? I'm all right, mate. Just going pro while I get. Yeah, and it's that's important. Look after yourself. Doing good, doing good. Just trying to get this figured out. My knee is, I have a torn meniscus and stressed ligaments and some swelling in the bone or something like that. So I have to do PT because they will not operate. So yeah. That is fun. So I get to start PT next week and then go back to the doctor in January and see if things have changed. That's fun. It is bugging me. It's really bugging me that it's so close. But I don't think I'm going to win. Because if I bring everything down, all these topics go away again, and I have to restart the process all over, which is frustrating. So I think first step tomorrow is probably figure out Kafka storage as well. I probably need to do that, and then figure out how to run this command on startup. Yeah. Yeah. That would be the goal. But if you are new to the stream, and you have no idea what's going on, I'm building a large application using a lot of different technologies. I'm always open for questions, and there is a Discord that you are more than welcome to join if you have any further questions and want to chat about stuff off stream. And one line saves me again with description. Let's see anyway. Right, left. Take care, mate. Well, take care, and have a good rest of your day. I'll see you again soon. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, my brain is all over the place with this right this second. So I need to figure out how to get the scripts to work, to get that to run. And when they're there, I basically need to make sure that Kafka is started before everything else starts up. That's its own challenge. Because once that's in place, I think the way the application is set up. So I set up build infrastructure first. So Kafka and things are set up long before. Don't need that. Create API gateway doesn't need anything else other than that. But yeah, once that's there, we should be moving. So I will create the Discord channel today and start to get this structure set up, and then yeah, we'll start doing that tomorrow. But hopefully we're done with deployment. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? We need some .NET developers. Okay. Let's go see my favorite streamer of the last year. To raid, we're gonna go raid Fullbots. Fullbots is building a game, a very cool puzzle game, which I highly recommend. And yeah, he's a super cool stream to go and hang out in, and he has lots of fun going on there. But I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can get any more of this stuff done before I start work today, because I would really like it to work and start producing messages routinely. The goal is in the near to long term is to get this coming up and down on a daily basis, where if you've logged in before, you can still log in and do what you need to do. I don't want it to lose people's data between restarts, but that will be something I'm going to have to fight. But again, keep practicing this, keep moving this along, keep doing this piece as we develop, and then start to dog food the application, building out the requirements for Liquid Sky for the next couple of months out in this, demonstrating that on stream and continuing to build. So more than welcome to ask any questions, and I will share information that might be helpful. And if there's ever you think there's a video that could be made or something, please let me know, because I would like to be able to produce content that helps back up some of these things and share some of this knowledge. But yeah, there we go. Thank you very much for joining me. One line, are you streaming today? Did you actually decide? I didn't, because when I go into the stream, I don't see the messages. So did you actually decide, are you actually going to get a stream up today? I do hope so, but I'll most likely cancel. Okay, then no worries. Well, I look forward to the next time as well. So thank you all. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye all.